This video is brought to you by Children's Ozempic, for kids who hate gym class but love pudding. No, but I bet that's real in 5 years. Anyway, support the habit at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. Are you having trouble finding a partner to play hide the salami with? Making like Steve from Blue's Clues and delivering a package that makes them wail? If you use any of those euphemisms, I'm sure that's not helping, but you're not alone. Someone aptly named Zoe Wiener, gotta be a fake name, right? Anyway, Zoe from Gentleman's Quarterly tells us that 20% of men and 19% of women ages 18 to 34 didn't take even a single trip to Pound Town in 2021. A study 13 years before that had 8% of males and 7% of females not partaking in any gardening for a year. You know, planting seeds. And this wasn't out of nowhere. A 2017 study said that people were porking less in the 2010s compared to the 90s. And this has started to affect birth rates. Of course, in case you didn't know where babies come from, it's not a stork shortage. 2023 apparently saw the fewest amount of total births in the US since 1979, which is really bad when you consider the population was also 100 million fewer people then. If the children of the 1950s were called boomers because they were the generation bred in the age where the most fucking was taking place, perhaps this new generation should be renamed the Busters. An article from Medium went viral recently claiming that 45% of women ages 25 to 44 are estimated to be single and childless by 2030. Why? Well, the hypotheses on Twitter range from social media has made them think they are 10s and waiting for their rich 6'5" handsome prince they deserve, to this question most easy answer, all women in West try be slut. No woman want be mother. You want solve problem? Shame slut. Problem solve. So easy. So women are single and childless because either their standards are too high and they're not having sex with anyone, or their standards are too low and they're fucking everything that moves. But women have a different thought. Guys, your hobbies are ugly. So this graph made the rounds a couple weeks back, and I'll just get this right out of the way. It's a fake graph. It's not backed by any study. It was made by some engagement baiter. It's not even the results of like a shitty Reddit poll or something. It's literally completely made up. But it seems to have sparked real conversation, as real as anything might be on the internet, where 123,000 bots like an AI image asking you to thank this baby sleeping at the bottom of the ocean for its service. The dead internet theory might be real. Anyway, the graph shows us that playing video games received an unattractive score of 90. It's less attractive than collecting figurines, doing magic, building model trains, or even stuffing dead animals to display them. The person who made this believes women would rather fuck a guy who made a nightstand out of his dead dog than a guy who plays Elden Ring. One could argue that at least he's demonstrating a skill, but anyway, some women chime in on this as though it were real. The point of hobbies isn't to attract the opposite sex. You do you, whatever it is you find fun. But I don't think a lot of men fully internalize how women feel about video games. At the very least, leave it off your dating profile. Video games are the most time-consuming, often played when the girlfriend is right there with him. Basically, the girlfriend is non-existent when the video games are on. Who wants that relationship? Hobby is the key word. Many, many men do not comprehend that doing something, anything, for 20 to 30 hours a week when you have a wife and kids has gone way outside the scope of hobby, whether it's golf or Call of Duty. The rationalizations men use to dismiss the ick women feel toward their gaming habits are next-level delusional. Women are vetting for a focused man. No one thinks the gamer wasting 30 hours a week on his couch is going to put his family first. That's what it comes down to. So, the general consensus among these blue-check purchasing women is that the issue with gaming isn't the hobby itself, it's how much time gets put into it. Perhaps they had a bad experience with a guy where they said, "Dylan, let's go out." And he was like, "Can't, babe. Friday night, me and the boys are gonna play COD and yell slurs at 12-year-olds. It's gonna be fucking poggers." And so now they feel that all men can't control themselves, that gamers will neglect women, and that there's zero chance they'll be good fathers. The Neanderthal who spent all day making cave etchings was not as desirable to those early women as those who went out and provided for their family by killing an animal and, not making a diorama out of it afterward. And that's carried over to modern day mating. But even though the chart's bullshit, there might be something to this. Scientific American spoke to the researchers at Indiana University who did the study that said that people ain't fucking as much, and while they admitted the research isn't there yet, they feel that screen time, social media use, and yes, video games are replacing the time that was previously spent socializing, or even within relationships, spent doing other things, like each other. If your granddad or great-granddad came back from the war and had a PlayStation 5 instead of, the fucking radio, do you think he would have hammered your grandma, silly? Or would he have been like, just a minute, Mildred, I'm gonna give myself PTSD and spend 40 hours a week playing this hyper-realistic recreation of D-Day, which I was totally at? We'll never know, but anyway, again, despite the chart being bullshit, women's feelings on gaming is very real. I would never have married or dated a gamer. Never. What a waste of time. My husband hunts and plays poker with friends in person, and I am all in favor of that. Alright if he's pissing away the kid's college fund, as long as it's with his buddies playing poker and not on microtransactions in Fortnite. Then, some real men, some actual existing males, got defensive about these responses. Sigh. The sad thing is that it doesn't matter what any man does it? If he's 6'2" and rich, he'll be just fine. The more things change, the more they stay the same, says some poor gnome. If you can't handle someone not paying attention to you for an hour or two to play a video game, you need to find something to preoccupy your time. Nobody's life revolves around you because you have a vagina. Women only don't like video games because they think that men prefer games over engaging with them. Instead, they think that men should just watch the same inane TV as they do and sit in silence that way. I get the sentiment, but yes, women want a guy who will pay attention to them and do things with them. At least sometimes. If you're like, ew, I might have to watch a TV show with a girl to get laid, not worth it, then you might be destined to stay in that 20% forever. Doing stuff together is the core of dating. And hey, there are women who play video games. In fact, 72% of women play video games. Problem is, the too high standards go both ways. They don't all look like Morgan Webb and Jessica Chobot. And guys are like, yeah, but they play girl games like Stardew Valley. So guys aren't interested in them either. But fellas, let's say you do want to change your whole life to try and get your dick wet. What hobbies do women find attractive? Well, according to another dubious chart that appeared around the same time with zero sourcing, reading, foreign languages, and playing instrument ranked in the top 3, with things like woodworking, hiking, blacksmithing, fucking year is this, and of course, traveling also rounding out the top 15. If you think $70 for a video game is becoming an expensive hobby, wait until you see how much plane tickets and hotels are. They definitely do not provide the $1 per hour of entertainment you believe products should. But I think the real problem of why fewer and fewer people are fucking lies in this whole social media men versus women shit we're seeing more and more of. We've regressed to a real playground mentality where girls think boys are stupid and immature, and boys think girls are all icky. Except instead of thinking they all have cooties, they now think they all have gonorrhea. Posting these stupid graphs just pits everyone against each other. Guys, if you're actually getting defensive at seeing women say, I think guys who play video games won't be good husbands and fathers, you might play too many fucking video games. In fact, here's a game you should try sometime. It's called taking a fucking shower and going out and meeting a real woman in public. There's no achievements for it, but if you do it right, what you will achieve is an orgasm that's not going straight into a tissue or gym sock. And women, if you think harping on what men want to do with their limited spare time is a good way to land a life partner, you also need to put your fucking phone down. In fact, I'm sure if someone made this graph for women, scrolling TikTok would be the least attractive hobby. Don't forget, 19% of you aren't getting laid either. And if you are out here losing to video games, especially if you're in a long-term relationship, don't blame the pixels and polygons. When was the last time you put on some fucking clothes, didn't sit around in your pajama pants looking at fucking makeup tutorials all weekend, and actually did yours? Upgrade those graphics, and maybe they'll play with your Xbox for a change.